Hello, everyone. On this edition of my comics and comic art videos, I'm going to be looking at 3 pages. One of them a recent acquisition, and the other two are several years older. I had commissioned Val Semeiks several years ago for a Peter Parker sitting in his bedroom working on his web shooters, full pencil and ink, full size 11 by 17 piece, which is hanging on my wall. And I don't get to see him at shows. He doesn't do any of the shows around my area too often. But I always like to check his website because he has a lot of pages for sale. And he has most of his pages are very reasonably priced. So I was going there a few months ago, pops into my head, and I always have the shortcut to the website, and I start looking for more than Batman or Spider-Man, which is where I usually start looking. So I started looking just for stuff in general. And I came upon this Legends of the DC Universe page from 1998. It's some of the things I liked about it. Straight off, it's issue 1, page 1. I like that. That's just kind of cool. Secondly, it is ink over pencil. Some of the things you can tell about that is you can tell it's a true ink just by looking at there's a certain sheen and a brush strokiness to all the large black spots. There's also notes from the penciler, in this case Val, on the margins, and they're done in red, so that you know that he penciled it, he left some inks, and he then left some notes for the inker, and the inker went off on his thing and darkened all over the pencils. Another thing I like about it is lettered on the page. I prefer that. It used to be that you'd go from a pencil, they'd send it to the inker, and then they'd send it to the letterer, and the letterer would actually draw the bubbles and the letters. Then they went to this, which is a taped or pasted on lettering, so that they could make it on the computer, cut it out, and pop it where it belongs. Now it's computer enhanced lettering most of the time, added during like post-production or whatever, however they call it. And so if you get a page, you're just going to get the art, not the letters. So I like, whenever possible, I like to get the pages which are penciled, inked over the pencils, and lettered. So the other thing I like is it does have Batman on it. Nice looming on a rooftop. But also it has Lois Lane. It has Captain Cold, Golden Age Green Lantern. Honestly, I don't know who this cat is, but that's okay. Somebody does. It's got Golden Age Flash. And I'm not sure who this is, although it could be the Ringmaster. I'm not 100% positive. But I really liked the page. And I'm not a big Legends of the DCU reader, but the page itself caught my eye. And it was short money. I don't remember exactly how much it was, but it was well under $100. Not bad for a full 1998 ink over pencil, letters on the page, the whole gig, with, you know, something going on in almost every panel, with major characters. I also like Val's art. I wish he did, or I actually, instead of saying I wish he did stuff that I read more, I wish I read more of what he did. So I'm not going to knock him. I'll turn it back on me. But anyway, that's my Legends of the DCU page, which I'm very happy with. The other two pieces I have are both from Norm Breyfogle. More than a year ago, and some, Norm suffered a stroke on his right side, and he's a right-handed artist. So if he does learn to draw again, or if he does pick up the pencil in any regard, somehow it probably won't look the same. I doubt he'll be doing any more professional work. I'm not 100% up to date on his recovery. But several years before that, I had gone through a few different websites, and I forgot, the name doesn't come to me right off the bat on what the site is. It may in a few minutes, but as you get older, things, it's like every time I learn something new, you know, it pushes something old out my brain. So anyway, so I grabbed these two also for pretty short money. These were both under $100. I think probably in the 90s. And this is from Shadow of the Bat, issue 67, page 9. Pencils by Norm Breyfogle and inks by Stan Woke. I usually get the pencil and inker, I write it down on the backside. That's why I was actually looking at the backside of this. Now, knowing that I don't have that there, I'll have to go there and find out who specifically the inker was. I mean, it's always possible it could have been Val himself, but without knowing that, I wasn't going to say for sure. So anyway, in this page, Oracle is in her place where she used to be, behind the clock tower in Gotham, which I think is kind of cool because you're looking at it from the inside out. She's talking to Batman, and Batman is having a little bit of problems because he's kind of stuck up on the rooftop here, and they're busy towing the Batmobile. So I thought that was just a cool page, one of those just things that you wonder if things like that ever happen. Does he ever get a parking ticket, you know? So the other strange thing that I was looking at here was that he obviously was disguised at some point, because you can see he's pulling off a mask. And at first I was thinking that it was like an artistic faux pas in that he was pulling off his mask. But yet I could see that the mask was kind of hanging out the back here, and I could see that the mask was hanging off the back here. So I'm thinking somehow something went wrong. He was pulling off the bat mask, but yet the bat mask was still here. Well, that's not true, as I can see it for sure. He's pulling off a mask that he was using, and now he's kind of re-getting into the full bat gear. But I also like the, you know, when I see something like this, it kind of reminds me of like a McFarlane-esque Spawn cape. Obviously, Norm Breyfogle was doing his thing before Todd McFarlane was doing his thing. And I don't know if Norm was borrowing from Todd, or was Todd borrowing from Norm, or I'm just looking at it in the wrong way, in that it's just two guys using similar feel to the way they have the cape going. But when I see this, it kind of reminds me of Todd McFarlane with the Spawn cape. But like I said, I'm not throwing shade on anybody. But also, it's got a whole police thing going on here, the towing of the car. And I have police in my family. I have my son's on the job, and my best friend, who was kind of like my brother, things like that. And so whenever I get an opportunity, if I see a page that I'm collecting the character of, and I see like cop activity, I try to grab it if I can. And the same thing with the Legends of the DC Universe. It's got a little cop thing going on here, whereas Mr. Freeze is frozen to cops. So that's kind of cool. I like that too. So now the other one, the other Norm page I have here is from Batman, the main title, issue 556, page 13. And pencils by Norm. And, oh, look at that. I don't have the notation down here either. I'm going to have to get that in there. Hey, if nothing else, the videos are kind of keeping me in line. This has Bruce Wayne talking to one of the board members. And he's kind of playing Bruce Wayne, playboy, man of leisure, because he's, you know, hanging out with his golf club, and he's got a tea time. Well, actually, it's too late for a round of golf, as he says, and the course is in a shambles anyway. So I'm without even knowing, I'm going to go that this has got to be within the No Man's Land or the Cataclysm, or it was Cataclysm before No Man's Land. So that's what the course is in a shambles is all about. But also, it's still, you got a nice couple of cop pages here going on here, cop images in there. I like the background. For me, it's not always about a hero kicking butt. I like, and I did a piece on this on my website, thespiderfiles.com, where it's the difference between activity versus inactivity in the page. This has got a lot of, or actually, as I said, it was action versus interaction. This has got a lot of interaction going on. It doesn't have a lot of specific action. The only action actually would be the shadow of Batman swinging behind everybody, heading up where he's going. But everything else is interaction. And I have a tendency to, I don't shy away from interaction pages. Maybe I'll do another video sometime, you know, showcasing my best action pages versus my best interaction pages. But anyway, I got a lot of nice background on this bottom 2/3. And I really enjoy that too. Plus, it's not all liney as they happen to be sometimes. Sometimes they will add darkness and shadows afterwards on the computer, and they didn't do that back then. It was the inker. The inker supplied the depth to the page, and so what you saw is what you got. This page here is the page that was going to be used in production, and no added computer assistance. And so you see the darks and the lights, and this is what you're going to see, and this is the style that the inker was using. Norm supplied the line art, and the inker embellished and what have you. Now, specifically what, how much pencil work Norm did versus how much inking the inker did, I can't tell you because I didn't see the pencil version of the page. But that's the way it used to be done. And also this is the lettered on the page edition. This is not pasted on. This is lettered on the page. So, and you can see where the blue line, the playing with the different sizes of the bubbles here. There's blue line shaping here, and there's some blue line shaping up here, right under here. They were playing with the size of the bubbles, and blue line apparently doesn't show up in the copy process, and that's why they can just leave it there. But anyway, I don't want to drone on too much. But this is my this is just 3 of the pages I have. I know I haven't done a comic video in a while. I'm saving up for some actual comics, some more graded books that I'm going to show. But I wanted to do a video on some of the pages, some of my enjoyable pages, not my top pages, but these are the pages that I usually go for. Not overly expensive, but for one reason or another, I really like them, and there's a reason for it, a specific reason. So I appreciate you taking the time to watch the video. I hope you'll come back on future episodes, if you will. Thank you for watching, and have a nice day.